You guys. Welcome back to High Tales with the Lit Sisters. We took a little break after the Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, Onyx Storm saga. And we have our palette cleanser book, which I am very excited to talk about. We have read The Measure before we start our next series. And Marissa, with her historian scribe type qualities, has added a lovely character map for us on this board right next to me, which is super beneficial.
My beautiful picture I drew.
We do need that for the fantasy worlds though.
And I'm listening and I'm going to just write out what I think it would be spelled like phonetically. And then I'll go back in the book and say, so rain, R-A-I-N equals whatever the fuck.
That's how it was pronounced. Rain. Okay.
I was talking to one of my friends at work. Whatever analogy I came up with, I talked about how it's harder for us to podcast about fantasy worlds versus what we're doing today because we have to build the world versus we have to just talk about it.
Yeah. This is modern. This is contemporary.
Exactly. So we're building a training and I told her that this training was going easier because of that.
Yeah.
And that's the analogy I did. And so I told her about our podcast and she has read all these and said the same exact thing you said to me about the second book.
Yeah.
So I was like, and I am just pissed. She's just read the second book.
Yeah.
Just read the second book.
It all makes sense. And not only that, Oraya isn't bitter, a bitter little bitch like
okay,
Violet. I'll say this.
Okay.
Violet was a child
who
was growing.
Yes.
Oraya is also a child.
Yes.
But is badass.
Which, fair.
Actually, no, she was a little bitter for a while. I have to read it again.
So this really relates to some personality traits of yours because it's for you, you're like a dude where literally when you're over it, you're over it. And so
I'm not.
But you get annoyed with main characters who like are even mad just for a little bit.
Okay. So yes, that is true. Some things take me a long time to get over though. So when you said when you're over it, I'm like, I hold on to things though. But when I am over it, you're right. I guess I'm like, oh no, that don't matter no more.
And I think
I'm a big forgiver and I think I don't give that vibe, but I will turn things around and forgive very quickly.
It's one of those things that you won't hold on to it if you think it's stupid shit. You are like, that's just stupid shit. Why are you holding on to it?
But there's lots of petty shit that I can't drop.
That's true.
I think it comes off of authenticity. Mm-hmm. If I think you have wronged someone in some way or shape or form, I will be the first one to be like, fuck you, bitch, and the horse you rode into town on, and I will hold that grudge. Mm-hmm. If you authentically change and grow, I am very quick to forgive and forget all of that previous stuff because that's what life's about. But if there's not authenticity in what you're doing, grudge, iron wedged in a wall in between us.
So I feel like how I work, I know exactly what you're going to say when I say this. How I work is I will always strive for benefit of the doubt or you can grow from this.
Yeah. Until it's the one step too far.
But I'll always remember.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is so bad.
I would say that I would describe that as you have a high tolerance for bullshit and there's no looking back. Like your done is truly done.
Yes.
My done is not really done. I'm emotional as fuck and I'm thinking about it. We had the falling out with the best man from our wedding fucking 17 years ago. Yeah. I still think about them at least once a week.
Really?
At least. It doesn't affect me. It's not the same.
You're just aggravated by it.
It's a grudge.
Yeah.
There is a grudge and it was not finalized in any way, shape, or form. And it will just always be there.
So question, when you get in that state, what would make you just not care?
I don't know if anything ever will.
Really?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like when it gets to that, I don't go grudge.
They're gone.
You're gone.
Yeah. You truly ghost. Like your mind, your heart. I don't wish you ill. I wish them ill. I would like to see bad things happen to
them
you.
tumble and fall.
Yeah, I'm going to pretend like that's not how I am in public, but I am hoping for your demise. And I'm laughing when it happens. You don't feel that way.
Will ghost, I will actively avoid information around it.
And even if you hear the information, even if you hear it, you really don't care.
No.
Where I pretend like I don't care, but really I'm like, then I go home on Facebook and I search them and I look at other people, and no one else knows that.
Well, now
to
everybody
the outward,
does.
Are we recording? Shit, no. To the outward appearance, Nicole don't give a fuck. I don't care. But I actually care a lot.
My outward appearance is you care too much.
Yeah. But I don't think you do. You just have a high tolerance for bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have a fiery trigger that sets you off. You're always, people have hard days. Like you said, you give the benefit of the doubt for a long time. And I think longer than most people should.
Yeah.
And not in a doormatty way. You just give the benefit of the doubt in an elevated way.
I like to think the best of people. I don't like the feeling it gives me to think pessimistically.
It's also a lot to cut people out. And you're like, I need that energy.
Yeah, I've got so much stuff on my plate.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine. But you truly, like, Derek's that way too. Once he doesn't care, he really doesn't care. I say I don't care, but all I do is care.
Yeah.
I got a lot of grudges. My favorite thing.
See, how can you emotionally handle grudges? I feel like that's just
because you have to remember, I also secretly enjoy rooting against people. Not all people, people that are close to me, that that's not true. I was going to say, if you think I like you, I do. No, there are a lot of people who think I like them and I don't. But I don't necessarily wish their demise. There's levels.
Okay.
I'm an onion. Okay. The people who are close to me, I literally will jump in front of a moving train for you. I will fight to the death for you. Especially if I feel like you've been wronged and you don't even think you're wronged. I don't fucking care. You're wrong about being wronged and I'm going to fuck that person up forever.
This was my high school experience
with
you, by
they're
the
on
way.
my shit list. They're on my shit list. And
there were so many people you chewed out on my behalf that I was like, oh, now it's just awkward.
Now it made it worse for you, actually. I've grown up a little bit. Sometimes I will just quietly wish for their demise. But yeah, I go harder in the paint for people that aren't me, people I care about. And then there are some friends. I have a lot of acquaintances that I enjoy their company and I enjoy being around them, but I don't ride hard in the paint for them like that.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh yeah, that's cool. I don't really, yeah, okay. But so if you have been in one of those two circles and now are out for a reason, no, I'm hoping for your demise.
Really?
Totally. I won't tell anybody that. And if you ask me about a particular person, I'll probably lie. But generally speaking,
you won't lie to me when I turn off the record.
No, I'll tell you. There's a couple people, basically family and about 3 other people. Yeah. but it's not a huge group.
Yeah.
But if you are in that group, and you might not know you're in that group, and then you're out for a reason, no. Like, I'm laughing when I find out you got divorced.
See, I come from more of a place of hurt. There's been like three or four relationships where I thought we were much better friends.
Yeah.
And then because like I said, I give everybody so much benefit of the doubt, but I remember and I log it. So that way, if and when something happens, I'm not surprised and it doesn't hurt as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's been a couple of like friendships that I was like, we're really tight.
They say friendship breakups are way harder than romantic relationship breakups.
Well, in romantic relationships, you know me.
Which I was going to say is very true for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You cut off the romantic one way easier.
Yeah, because
fuck guys.
It was one of those things that I don't want to spend my energy if I'm not feeling it.
But I think there is a vulnerability with, and I'm not a man, so I don't know if it's different. I think it is different for men, but I'm making an assumption there. But we really need a community of like women who understand it and trust us. And speaking as people who were raised with women, like sisters, there's a separate bond there. But But I also think we need relationships outside of the sisters, right?
Yeah.
Like actual peers, and your kids are the same age and stuff like that. And so when there's a betrayal in
It
that
hurts.
level, it hurts so much deeper because they do know more about you than the general guy. Sometimes in some instances than my life partner.
Yeah.
The people might know more and stuff. So it's harder.
Yeah.
It's way harder. And just know those 3 people who have hurt you, I know who they are. And I have been hoping for their demise, some of them for over a decade.
Wow.
Oh, wishing for it.
Meanwhile, I'm just avoiding it. And
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder why I was surprised. I'm like, you didn't go to your high school reunion? You're like, no.
yeah.
I'm like, why would that surprise me? Derek had no desire to go to his either.
Yeah.
He's like, I talked to the people I want to talk to. I wanted to go to Derek's.
Yeah.
It's much more fun. You don't want to bring your hot wife that's not from here?
Excuse me. Hello.
I would want to show me off, bitch. See how you feel. I wanted to show you off. Okay.
I really want to know what he was like back then.
No.
I think he might have been a jerk.
Oh. Husband younger? Husband without you? Yeah, no, he was an asshole. I think he told you at the beginning of your relationship, listen, I'm an asshole. And you're like really nice. And I'm pretty sure this is going to be serious. And I don't want to take advantage of you. And you were like, then don't.
Yeah.
Take advantage of your
No.
niceness, basically.
Yes. He said, because this was him trying to be like, I don't know if we should be together.
Backstory, he had just gotten out of a 5-year
Yes,
relationship.
he's a serial monogamous.
Yeah.
But he was like, I'm an asshole sometimes. I feel like I need somebody who will
Check me.
check me, put me
Yeah.
in my place, yell at me. And you won't yell at me if I'm an
Hindsight,
asshole.
that would have been me
Yeah.
and would have both killed each other.
Yes.
Like that scene in Step Brothers when they like both swing the golf club and bat at the same time and knock each other out.
Yeah. But my mature response was just don't be an asshole then.
Like maybe grow up.
But I think I am very good for him.
Yeah.
Because if somebody steps to him and yells, he's just going to yell back to your earlier point. But me, it's if I'm calm, I'm stern, and then he sees my hurt, he's like, why am I an asshole?
No, and my husband's a lot more like you.
Yeah.
It's not even showing hurt. It's showing like ridiculousness. I'm not interacting in that kind of.
Don't bring me into this minion shit.
I'm too good for that. Like it's just, but I always describe that I saw my effect on him for some reason and I didn't want to do that. It hurt my
Yeah.
feelings. So you almost need to,
Which might
but that also is recipe for disaster because that could have been a very abusive narcissistic relationship. I'm talking about mine. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? There are just people who bring out the best in you and people who bring out the worst in you.
yeah.
And there might be love there, but it doesn't mean it's good for you. So all you youngins who listen to our podcast, because obviously we're in with
Target
the youngins.
audience. Yes.
FYI, love's a shit show and you actually have no idea. So don't even think about getting married until you're at least 30.
41. I'm just kidding.
If you're a guy, if you're a girl, don't even think about it till you're 30 and don't
Well-
even entertain men unless they're over 35.
Okay.
They're seriously fucking stupid.
Let's pause on this because I'm going to blow your mind with something right now.
I can't wait. All right. Let's listen to it.
So that's our perspective growing up at our time,
True.
where we grew up and there was a lot of binge drinking. There
Yeah.
was a lot of like sexualization.
I know, like the
There-
2010s were rough.
it was not great. It
No,
did not
was
help with
it was the
confidence.
90s, you guys.
But this generation coming up
Mm-hmm.
that's starting to have dating and things like that,
Yeah.
they don't drink as much. They
Yeah.
don't have an environment where it's cool to be toxic and masculine. So I think the level of growth
Yeah.
that you have, if my husband grew up now,
Oh, yeah.
where it was okay to talk about your feelings,
Yeah.
and you didn't have to always be big protector, and empathy was cool,
Yeah.
it would have shaped them
Well, and
differently.
that's, I think, the thing that isn't discussed enough
Yeah.
Toxic masculinity had an effect on women, but it also has an effect on men
Oh, yeah.
and the way you're raised. And the men that are our husband's age, early 40s, all of your 40s, in your 30s, you men out there, because obviously that's a huge part of our listener base as well.
Again, target
as men,
audience.
yeah, obviously. You weren't given those tools. Most of you were not. And even those of you who were raised, I think our parents were much
Progressive.
better about that and talking about things. It still was through the 90s, early 2000s lens, which there was still air in that. There are still things that we joked about with our brother that aren't funny, that formed, I think, different insecurities for him. You have to get over those. And I think
Yeah.
that's the argument that a lot of women have with men today. You feel attacked, but really, this is just your time to dig in, and you have to break those things and fix them for yourself so that you can do better. Women have had to do it. We've had to do it a lot in a lot of different variations to evolve as like women in general and fight for it. Men, this is your time. You're the generation, unfortunately, that has to unlearn all that bullshit.
For the betterment of your kids.
Oh, yeah. And I think men, the good men, you guys can't see my air quotes, but the good men out there know that and are willing to do that and grow and evolve and see that. And then there's
I mean,
a lot
I
of
think
men
you
who
can
are
just say
victims.
People are like, everybody needs to grow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And some people have further to grow based on race, sex, like,
Gender, identity.
yeah.
Like, everyone's got it hard.
And frankly, your gap is still the smallest out of everybody's challenges.
You're still the most privileged if you're a Caucasian,
You still win.
straight man.
Just be more humble about it, man.
Maybe don't do a touchdown
You know
dance
what?
every time.
You don't have to say, stomp your feet and be like, I won, but the way I won was just too close. Like, just
It was a
proud you won.
softball already, dude. Okay? Dear Lord.
I wanted to beat them 30-0, and I only beat them 3-0.
Listen, you guys have been running this country for 250 straight years. You're winning.
You've won for 250 years.
Just here. Not even around the world yet. It's even longer around the world. All right. Okay. Are we going to actually talk about this book? Do you want me to start?
Yeah, but can we do something more fun for the beginning?
Yes.
Can we actually say welcome back with High Tales with the Lit Sisters?
I did. I said that, Marissa.
You just were very...
Roll the tape. Welcome back to High Tales with the Lit Sisters, guys. I've missed you so much.
Okay, that's all I wanted. You were being so
She
academic
wanted
about it.
jazz
Oh,
hands.
You were very sweaty balls with it, and I wanted to party. Okay, it's Friday.
Before you pressed record, she called my voice shrill. So maybe I was bringing some attitude
Okay,
into this
I
intro.
said shrill as a term of endearment.
You also talk shit about my sound effects all the time.
Oh, jeez, not again.
We all know, I'm talking to you, High Tales with the Lit Sisters universe. We all know my sound effects
Okay,
are shitty, but we love them all the same.
I'll give you this.
What?
Anyone that thinks your sound effects are great, like us on whatever you listen to us on, and we'll see if any of our stats prove that. I'm noting this episode.
Not
and if
everyone. It's
after-
not fair. Not everyone listens to the palate cleansers.
All
Okay.
you have to do is press a little heart. And anyone who does that, I'll be like, okay,
Okay,
fair.
mom. My sound effects are great. Please like it. Dad, and
Neither
everybody
one of
else.
them- No, they're on my side.
They always have been. You guys, I've always been told I was too much. This is not supposed to be therapy, okay?
It's really been great
It
therapy
has
for
been
me.
therapeutic, though. I'm not going to lie. It could be the altered state of mind. Okay. So talking about The Measure, overall, this book, I really enjoyed it. I'll be honest with you, I haven't found much joy in singular books lately. Like even the romance novels I read like in between, I like them to be in a series. I like to have
Yeah.
interconnected characters in some way, shape, or form. Every time I read a single book, it feels unfinished. I want to know more, which I think is why I'm a excess is the best type of person. This was a very well written book, very well rounded, and somehow a complete story. Like it'd be a great movie, don't you think?
Yes.
A great movie.
It was very thoughtful.
Yes. Yes.
You
Smart.
could tell that she wrote it and edited it and was very...
Yeah, I'd be interested. Actually, we didn't say who the author was, did we? Oh, Nikki Erlich. The Measure by Nikki Erlich. It's also a beautiful book cover, a beautiful book in general. It's pretty. Wow.
I don't judge books by covers. Excuse me.
Disrespectful.
No, it was really well done. But
yeah. Anyways, back to The Measure. So we first get introduced to the book. It's March. Boxes appear overnight in every state, every town, every country. Everyone has these small wooden chests with your name on it.
22 or older.
We didn't know that yet. Spoiler. In about 5 bullet points. Wow. Wow, Marissa. But yes, everyone 22 or older wakes up to a small wooden chest with their name on it with a note that says, "The measure of your life lies within." You open the box and there's a string. Okay? So, state of the world. We're going to have these state of the world checks throughout, and then we're going to talk about the various characters because there's a lot of them and they're all interconnected. So it took about a month for people to start to believe that this was real. This wasn't just some sort of hoax. So as you can imagine, there's news sources. All these stories are happening, right? Our first character, Nina, is a journalist. She get confirmation from a source that she knows from the Department of Health. They are real. We don't know why. About a month of this chaos. You start to see businesses boarded up with signs saying, "Going to live my life," things like that. Research is starting to show that the strings represent your full life. It's not just how much time you have left. It's from birth to death, no matter what that is. You start to hear stories. And the one story...
A young couple, they looked in their boxes and hers was really short and his was really long.
And they looked on their wedding night in Verona.
And turns out they decided to both jump off the bridge hand in hand to die together no matter what.
So poetic.
She died and he survived. And again, the string is correct. What the string says happens. And you
might not die, but you might be paralyzed for the rest of your life because of a choice you made.
Yeah. And just thinking about it, you're hearing lots of stories because Nina is the news buff. So we always get what stories are being told. How do we want to tell our story in our paper about this? And so it's a lot of debate at work with her.
We're getting the TMZ when they sit and they're like talking about the stories, but we get an insider scoop and watch them.
But it really opens up a lot about what would actually be happening.
What the hell's going on?
So it's like people with long strings. Okay, you're either very grateful that you have a long string, but you probably can have a sigh of relief. So people are like trying to like ODing, doing crazy things because they're like, I can't die anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's like a trend, different hashtag trends of kids. And they're like trying ketamine tonight or pushing the limits of this hand gliding thing or whatever, testing the limits of their life.
It's the quality of your life. And if you F around, even if you live to 100, but you live homeless till 100,
with an
you still have to do stuff.
An iron lung or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so we start to meet all the characters. And I think the first 4 characters we meet in the book are the 4 main characters, even though there's probably 10 that we're following pretty closely. You have how many? Can you count them up?
Looking at the map, 2, 4, 6, 8. I would go 11 or 12.
Okay. Yeah. Which is a lot of main characters in all honesty. So like we said, we meet Nina first. She's living in New York, is a journalist. The main characters are all in the New York area. We are in one of those meetings and there's the shift. It's an election year, a presidential election year. All news sources are like hot on that. And they're like making a conscious decision to shift from that news scope to the boxes. And they're going through all the things that we've talked a lot about, the things that they've realized at this point. What's another one? Oh, the strings are indestructible. So the strings resemble like a common yarn type fabric, but people have tried to blow them up. People have tried to cut them. People have tried to do different things to them, and they are completely indestructible, along with the boxes that look like just little small wooden chests, which I found really weird. And they are noticing that even people with long strings, which I just found this interesting in the process, even people with long strings who have like cancer, who like people are thinking they're going to die, but they have a long string, they end up being curable ailments, where people with short strings, it is more non-curable ailments.
Yeah. So we have Nina that you talked about, but Nina is actually dating Moira. And she is personality-wise just a little bit different in terms of she's more free-spirited. And the big debate for a lot of this is, do you open the box or do you not? So a lot of what people are fearing is, if you open the box, something bad will happen. If you don't, and the right to privacy.
So I want to ask a question periodically as we talk about this. Yeah. Right now, at the very beginning,
I'm not opening my box.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask you. You wouldn't have opened it? Okay.
I would have waited until we had more information.
I would have immediately opened my box.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. So Moira really wants to open her box.
Yes. Nina doesn't.
Nina does not. But she's very spirited.
Yeah.
Hip. I just picture her hippie-ish.
I think I pictured Moira more normal and Nina just very like type A.
Stringent.
Yeah. So she might seem free-spirited compared to Nina.
Oh, fair. That's fair feedback.
Yeah. Because I think she was just more, of course we're going to open them. Of course we're going to open them. And then they do.
And Nina's is much longer. And Nina, she was just opening it so Moira didn't have to open it alone. Because her whole thing was she's going to open it no matter what. I don't want her to have to experience this alone. And thank goodness
it wasn't just longer. It was half the length of Moira's.
Double the length.
Well, yeah. Yeah. Duh. Moira's was half the length. We also learned from Nina's internal thoughts that her sister Amy is like you and did not want to open. We pan to Ben. I think the thing about Ben's experience that was cool is he was on a red-eye flight from San Francisco back to New York, and he felt a jolt on the plane that like woke him up, and he like was wondering if that's when everyone else got their boxes.
Yeah.
We do realize through Ben's inner thoughts at this moment that he has a shorter string. We don't know how short, and we don't know how he found out or anything like that. But in his inner thoughts, he's like talking about that as he's on his way to a support group for short stringers.
Yeah.
So that's how we know.
And so the main people in this short stringers, so we meet Ben. Ben is the one that gives us a lot of context throughout around the short stringers group.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
We get a lot more of his chapters during group.
This is Ben's first time. We also find out that this is Moira's first time. And so they become quicker friends because they sit next to each other in the group. We also meet somebody named Hank. And the leader of the group, the bad thing is I don't remember his name.
It shows you how much he comes back up.
Yeah, he facilitated the group. But the thing that I thought was a little bit bogus is he had a long string.
I did find it interesting because I did not like him as a character.
No.
But that because he was in a wheelchair and had done support groups, that he could relate to them. And it's like, you have no idea, actually.
But you can't have a short stringer running that facilitation group.
That's a lot of training over and over again.
Oh, gosh. Anyway, so their first assignment in this group, like they're all sharing different fears and everything that we would think about in that situation. But their thing was write a letter. And you're like, write a letter to who? Whoever you want, about whatever you want, just get it out on paper.
Well, and I liked how
what he said.
Ben's inner thoughts was like, this is horseshit. Whoever to whoever about whatever, write a letter and I'll be okay.
That's freaking lazy. You phoned in your homework last night, Professor.
He did say it like, how about we write a letter?
Yeah.
It
yeah.
didn't seem like planned curriculum
No.
to me.
No, he's phoning it in because these short stringers, as long as they don't write a review in the next 3 months. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Ben's internal monologue, though, was that it was stupid. Like, he was honestly struggling with acceptance, and it seemed silly. Moira's inner thoughts, this doesn't come back up again, but I thought it was interesting that she was debating on whether it made sense to tell Nina that she was having doubts about them being together until the strings came. Which I was like, oh, poor Nina. We then pan to Amy, who is Nina's sister. And it's just Nina calling that morning in a very type A personality way of being frantic, right? Don't open your box, or we're opening our box. Are you going to open your box? Who's doing what? Do you see what's on your front porch? And Amy was just very casual. No one's going to know what the hell happens for a couple of chapters, which is interesting when you're reading a book and you don't know what's going on and you're like, oh, I'm not going to know for at least 50 pages. Cool. Thanks, Amy. Appreciate that.
And the funny thing is, you brought that up as a previous teacher. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. She's a teacher too.
And that's exactly, I was like, oh, I didn't think of it like that.
Oh, I laughed to myself. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's going to be chaos like this for a while. Awesome.
Okay,
Awesome.
cool.
Amy finds Ben's letter. So that's how we find out Amy, Nina's sister, the teacher, the support group is held in her classroom at night. And Ben, we already knew he thought the project was bullshit, just left his letter and she picked it up and read it. The story he wrote was about, like, I think something he learned in a history class, and it like was reflecting on his feelings, and he just wrote about it. So she wrote him back, answering kind of some of his questions and things like that. We then find Hank. You mentioned Hank in the support group. We see him, though. He's a surgeon of some sort. Seems pretty high up. He's an ER doctor. Okay. Patient comes running into the ER with a short string. He's talking about how busy they've been, that people who had short strings are coming in to get checkups, to think that they can change it in some way, shape, or form. We know now that they can't. But initially when this happens, can you imagine the chaos at hospitals? If you had a shorter string, I have cancer or something, I'll find it right now.
I need to go to a doctor.
And they had just decided they just have to turn people away with if you don't have any symptoms, we can't do a checkup on you. There's literally not enough people here to take care of the people who are actually dying. So this patient comes in very frantic. No one would help him. And he is extremely frustrated and angry. I connected a lot with his emotion at that time. That is how I would feel. Because he was like, what the fuck is the point? No one's going to fucking help me. And everyone
was like, yeah.
Looked at him like, yeah, no, we can't. You're not important enough is basically the feeling that it was. And then it pans to Hank telling his supervisor that he's going to resign at the end of the month. So that's how we know Hank probably has a short string. A shooter comes into the ER. He's going through the training he's gotten, starts evacuating patients out the back. It's very chaotic. All right. To summarize all of it, the shooter is shot and killed. We find out that shooter was a short stringer, and that's the same guy who came into the ER weeks before. Very frustrated and very angry. Everyone who died in that event had a short string. So this leads us into the next state of the world. You're starting to get correlations between short stringers, acts of violence, short stringers, not safe, short stringers, dangerous, right? The narrative is starting to build here.
So with this, obviously, strings are changing behavior. So we're seeing an uptick or a perceived uptick, especially in all the sensationalized stories about short stringers are doing crazy things.
You can imagine the clickbait shit that's going on.
Oh, yeah.
And the way this narrative is building.
And so actually think about what would happen in the world. And in the story, North Korea requires everybody to turn in your box. Don't even look at it.
Yeah.
Just go turn it in.
Because obviously that knowledge is making people act crazy. So we're going to take that knowledge away, which is exactly how North Korea would act.
And frankly, there's a lot of other dictator-ish nations that would probably do that.
And I did find it interesting. I don't think we said it yet, but Moira is black. So she's a black gay woman.
Yeah.
And Nina's inner thoughts during these chapters was she already has a hard enough time getting medical assistance. We're hearing stories of people being denied treatments because they have a short string, so there's no point. what is she going to go through? And it sends Nina down that spiral because she's type A.
Yeah.
And I think this is important. She finds the string theory and there's already like this underground group of conspiracy theorists, right?
Yeah.
That are like, people with short strings are being denied different services because they have short strings, or do they have short strings because they're being denied these services? And it's a replaying theme as we go throughout the book as everything builds,
Yeah.
which I think is exactly what would be happening.
So in the US, of course, there's the sensationalized stories and a lot of the political leanings of what the far right and the far left would say about it, or of choice versus we need to be scared versus all of these different things.
Add on, it's an election year.
Yes.
Maximizing the shit out of this.
There is a congressman from Virginia named Anthony, and very Southern draw, very right leaning, but he's actually doing really poorly in the polls right now.
Oh, yeah. He's your typical douchebag congressman.
But he's got the Southern Belle wife. These are my dad and my granddad and my great granddad. We're all congressmen type of family. And so he is, how do we play this whole string thing? And they are basically strategically deciding to really lean on the fact that short stringers might be scary.
Yes.
So they are taking the sensationalized stories and saying, yeah, you're right. We have a reason to be afraid. And they're using it like that conversation where they were politically talking about it.
Were you cringing?
I was just like, it's so sad that this is what it would be.
Yeah. And it was very true. It was very true.
Yeah.
The whole time I'm like, there are definitely people.
How are we PR spinning this for our benefit?
We just
not
talked about,
how do we save the country?
Yes. And we were and again, it's an election year. He's running for president. He's not doing too good because there were sexual assault allegations from when he was in college that had just come out.
Yeah.
Before the strings. And so then that's why that whole story started. How do we use this to our benefit to smoke and mirrors that shit that I did 20 years ago, essentially?
So him and his wife, of course, are long stringers. Mm-hmm. And then there's rumors that his opponent is a short stringer.
Like really short.
Yeah. So that is like the start of this poor Anthony guy. Not poor Anthony, poor us for having to deal with Anthony. I was going to say,
do you have sympathy for Anthony?
No,
poor us. You're right. That's exactly
poor
right.
Us for having to. But it was very scary reading that conversation.
It was grimy. I felt like I needed a shower. And not only that, hearing the rumor and them both being happy about it and dancing. Isn't this when they danced and they're like, we were rewarded for our faith? Oh, so he's not? Like it was very, ugh. There's a sound effect for you. Ugh.
And frankly, Catherine just feels like Airhead to me.
Agreed. And I do want to point out the lineage that you went through is Catherine's family.
Not Anthony's. Why
Not
is
Anthony's.
He so cocky?
He married, so it makes it sleazier, in my opinion. I don't know why it makes it sleazier, but it felt sleazier that he like purposely.
You weren't even brought up like that.
You purposely married in to this like historical congressman family.
You know what that reminds me of?
What?
There was somebody that wanted to get into politics, and he used to talk about how he wanted to marry a Jackie, not a Marilyn. Like he said those words.
I'm pretty sure I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. And you're a Jackie. And I'm like, no, you're a Jackie.
This may or may not be somebody that.
No, I'm going to cut out any identifying factors.
Can we just pause?
Yeah.
Of course it was. Oh, fucking. Actually, he's who I pictured as Anthony. Like his face.
Okay. Well, you were able to put a face to that Anthony.
Yeah.
Okay. So his nephew.
Catherine ain't no Jackie, though.
Jack is actually Anthony and Catherine's nephew, and he is actually in the military.
He is in the military. He is Catherine's side of the family.
Yes.
So, like, he's from the long line
yes.
of colonizers.
But he feels like an outcast to the family because his dad is Catherine's sister.
Yeah.
And then his mom was some hussy that ran away and didn't even want to.
Took advantage of the father by getting knocked up, basically.
That's just their perception of this wife was just horrible.
Yeah.
She didn't want to be married to him anymore. And he basically said, you can leave, your son can't.
So what I love about this, the building of this book, is we already had a sleazy feeling of Anthony. Then in Jack's memories, we get him as a child. The way we find out about this whole story is a memory of him as a child. Mom is gone. I think, had they drove her away yet? Yeah, they drove her away. And he overheard his fucking Uncle Anthony and his dad talking about how this could be used as a good thing for him because now he has an heir and she's crazy. They were talking shit about it.
Yeah. So and he's always felt like the outcast.
Yes.
But he is in the military, and his aunt and uncle, of course, leverage him being in the military as part of their campaigning, by the way. Another thing, it's like he talks about how he's only invited to these things so they can show him off as being in the military.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even want to do this.
Which I did find it interesting because he was like, obviously, my uncle's campaign will be over now. He's never been through he hasn't been in the military or been through a crisis at all.
Yeah.
Which is why Jack is in the military, because his family's like, you have to say you've been in the military to be able to run for office later.
Yeah.
But I was even reading that going, Jack,
come on, Jack.
you were raised in this shit. That's not how this
better.
works. No.
His roommate, Javier, is Jack's best friend and is like the first person that didn't treat Jack different because of the family he came from.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
almost like their stories from the very beginning. Jack was supposed to be the hero for the election. He wanted nothing to do with the military. Javi worked his ass off, made his family proud. Everyone was proud of him. He was proud. He wanted to serve his country.
This is his passion.
It's
this
his
is
life.
His purpose.
He knows it's his purpose.
Yeah.
Purpose. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. But they both decide we're not opening our boxes. We're just going to live our lives.
Yes.
Don't poke the bear.
Yeah, why would you? So Hank is going to a support group. He did not want to go to the support group. It was like down the hall for very short stringers because it was just depressing. So he instead went into Ben and Moira.
Medium short, schmedium.
Yeah, these guys have 10 to 15 years, 15 to 20, 10 to 20 years. A shorter life, like basically you're dying in your 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
But they still have time, right?
Yeah.
No one needs to know is basically what his thought was. I'm getting supported either way. It doesn't have to be depressing. We did hear a little bit about his situationship with Annika. And Anna, is that how you said it? Annika? Yeah, Annika. And I only want to bring this up because she's really the only support he has in his life outside of this support group.
Yeah.
Which I found interesting. And they had a situationship. He talks about loving her.
Yeah.
And in the memory flashbacks, I think she loves him too. But I think they're just both doctors
Too practical.
and too busy.
Like they didn't work out because they were both too practical.
Yeah. And she just saw it, I think, and was like, oh, that's why you are leaving at the end of the month.
That makes sense.
And he was saying before it was because he's a doctor and obviously nothing he's doing even matters because people's strings are determining their life anyway.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
That would all of those like firemen, police officers.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you have, what am I doing here?
Yeah. Yeah. I connected a lot to what
Nurses.
Hank was saying.
Yeah.
Like you devote your whole life to it. You're talking about how you can't be with this girl that you are in love with because your job means something, right? And it does. But I would be having the same feelings for sure. What am I doing
What
this
am I
shit for?
doing?
Especially an ER doctor.
Yeah.
You think you've had so much impact on people?
And his internal dialogue is all, I'm trying
None
my
of this
best to
matters.
save his life, but it really doesn't matter. If his string is short, his string is short.
I did find a couple of things interesting. The bitterness in the support group right now.
Yeah.
So we're a couple months in
Yeah.
at this point, maybe a month. And I have their names here. I didn't actually remember their names, but Terrell stole an expensive watch from his boyfriend because he cheated, and he's like, whatever, I don't care, doesn't matter anymore. So people are like doing things they normally wouldn't do because it's like, why am I gonna I don't have as much time to learn these lessons.
Yeah.
So fuck you guys.
Yeah. And that's funny because I feel like as you get older, you give less fucks.
Yeah.
And like old people is just, he made me mad. So
Yeah.
I stole his watch. Who cares?
And that's what Terrell did. It looks better on me anyway. Chelsea, another girl, said her boyfriend broke up with her when he found out about her string length. And I was like, oh, that sucks. But I would probably think about that if you're maybe going to be with someone forever. Leah is pregnant with her brother and his partner's twins, which I found so beautiful. And she was so happy, but they used her eggs. And I just feel like that means a part of me is going to be here still.
Yeah, I don't have
and
to
celebrate
rush
it.
into marriage stuff.
And she doesn't have to feel like she's abandoning her kids. Like to have kids, to know I only have 15 years left. Like I'm only going to see the first 15 years of their life. I don't have to worry about that. I'm letting my brother and his partner be able to have life. And then it's still part of me.
I could see myself doing something like that.
We also find out at this point, Hank and Ben are talking, and Ben knows that Hank's string is way short. And Hank doesn't really tell him. He picks up on context clues. It shows how observant Ben is. Because I remember in the conversation, I was like, oh, ooh, Ben, you got this shit.
You're so smart.
All right. Meanwhile in the world.
Yes.
Shit's hitting the fan.
So what does China do? China mandates all citizens open their box and report their findings.
Which is exactly what China would do.
Now we're building a database of information on people's strings.
And honestly, you know where that's going.
Yeah.
Determining your job based on your string. What's your contribution level?
And there's like tons and tons of discrimination already that you're hearing throughout. So, of course, Anthony uses this opportunity, this stoking of the fear environment that he loves.
Yeah.
And in the middle of a debate, he says, you know what? I think every candidate should reveal your string length. And
you
I think
deserve to know as Americans.
Like his version of I'm releasing my taxes to show that I'm not taking bribes from different countries.
Yep.
I'm showing you my length, knowing that his opponent is probably very anti.
Well, it was a way to out him.
Yeah.
Without being the outer.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to do this. Look at because you need to be able to serve 4 to 8 years, and you should be able to prove that.
Yeah. And then, of course, the speech that his opponent gave Johnson was amazing.
I thought so too.
It was just like, we should live our lives. We shouldn't be able to do a job or not do a job because of this. What's next?
He called it what it was. This is a new form of discrimination.
Yeah.
But it did look defensive.
But he also brought it to the people where it's like, what's next? Do you think these people have to show it? What about the military? What about this? And then, of course, now everybody starts talking about revealing, like some jobs should have to reveal.
Yeah. Events are happening all around the world as this is happening. So there's little story. And again, we're getting it from the journalist's point of view. A lot of them are coming from Nina. There's one in June that it's a bombing of a short stringer with a note. The people suffer and die while our leaders do nothing. And a bunch of people died, all short stringers. But it's just compounding events. Yeah. So you're hearing all these things, compounding events. And then finally, Anthony's asked to go talk to the current president, who's obviously Donald Trump.
Yes. It was very much like, we're helping build a committee to figure out whatever, blah, blah, blah.
What to do. And
of course, it's all very veered towards discrimination against short stringers.
Even what it's called is reflective. The short stringer situation. Again, putting it on short stringers, not the situation that's being created.
Yeah. Not the discrimination against the short stringers.
Talk about knowing you're entering a like biodome. What's that? What were they in biodome? But like a little like quick, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Petri dish?
Thank you. I think. It's a small like case study essentially of every form of racism and discrimination that our country has historically lived through. We're literally seeing all the steps happen right now. Yeah.
And so talk about another conversation that was blah was the actual cabinet meeting that they had. And so in this meeting, they were talking about the short stringer situation and the conversation of, think of it this way. If we know the military's string length,
Yes.
we would only put long stringers on the front because that means we're winning all of the battles. So they are using people's lives to plan offensive measures.
Soldiers as cattle, essentially. Like you're just bodies, because they're also not talking
They
about.
were talking about it like chess, not like people.
Of course, yes, definitely. Like not thinking that
This is why
you
I couldn't
could
be in the
still
military.
you could still live but not have legs. You can still live, but half your face was blown off because they wouldn't die.
Yeah.
Like,
and like, this is actually a great PR spin. We would never send anybody with a short string we would never
Yeah.
send our boys to die.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Part of me is every politician should be like mic'd at all times, and we should have AI bots analyzing their conversations.
Okay. Oh, you're going very Big Brother, and I think that's the wrong direction.
Yeah, but fuck these guys, Marissa. They're all against us. If it's not my fault they didn't wear their tinfoil hat, okay? They did decide that high-ranking government posts would have to disclose their string, and they equated it to a background check or a physical exam.
Yep.
I already don't like the way this smells. I don't even want to call it fishy. I think that's mean to fish. Okay. The support group, they were constantly finding solace in their anger. And I felt like they were screaming into the wind, is what a lot of these meetings coming up were like, right? Yeah. The president is creating two classes of citizens. This meeting, they were pissed. Moira, we really got to see how fiery she is. This is the one where Moira, I think, became like my favorite character because she was the one who was like, nah, fuck that shit. This is not how this shit should be. Yeah. This is not okay. Making us two classes of citizens. They were starting dating apps for short stringers versus long stringers. And I think that's when like somebody was like, oh, then people can find. And she's like, no, that's discrimination. Adoption agencies.
Oh,
we're only choosing long stringers as parents.
Babies. See, all of these things. Let's take a step back and relate this to real life policy.
Yeah.
All of these things, I totally understand
logically
the intent behind it.
Yeah.
And I understand none of the people that build stuff like that think of it as the bad. They're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm connecting people that are going through the same thing. But that's what happens when you don't understand all the viewpoints.
I would say that's what happens when capitalism is infused in every part of your life, because someone's making a profit off of a dating app for short stringers and long stringers. Someone's like, it's
okay. So I feel like that's a very
I can only go about
view.
4 minutes without talking about capitalism. All right. Give me that.
I think so I think a lot of the people who start to build these things and have ideas around it have good intentions.
True. And I have to remember, we're watching this from a 360-degree view. Like we get to look down on it and be like, wow, you can totally see how sympathy is getting like just diluted with fear.
Yeah.
Over and over again. But when you're living it and you're in it, you're like, a dating app for short stringers is a great idea because you're both not going to be here long. So you can just do that. And or why would you want to give a child who already is in the system to someone who's going to die within 10 years and then they're orphaned? You can see how that would be logical in the moment. And maybe if I was living it, I would think it's logical.
The intentions were probably
done by a long stringer.
I think people are trying to help in a lot of situations.
Yeah.
But they do something unintendedly not inclusive or stuff because they don't have a well-rounded view. And society in general, instead of saying, hey, I've got an idea, you forgot something, they say, you're horrible.
Exactly. Speaking of this, actually segues into Javier and Jack very well again. So it's called the Star Initiative.
Yeah.
right? You have to, if you're in the military, report your box and present the findings to the commanding officer. And Javi and Jack have 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And Javi has a very short string.
Yeah.
They open theirs together. They sit down. His is short, like within 5 years short.
Yeah.
And these guys are in their 20s. So that's a blow. Jack's, probably because of his amazing breeding and faith, is very long. He's going to live a very long life. Both men have a very similar reaction
They're both
to being depressed
Yeah.
about it, which is interesting with Jack with his long ass string. But his response is, I hate all of this. I'm only doing this because my family is making me, because they're going to make me run for office someday.
Now they're going to send me the front.
Over and over again. And combat scares the shit out of him. Javi
Yeah.
is a warrior. Javi is built for this shit. That's what he wants. He wants to go to combat.
He wants to save lives.
He does. He does. So I really honestly connected with Jack a little bit. That's how I would be feeling.
Yeah. Oh,
The
shit.
last
Oh,
thing,
shit.
I am not a soldier.
Yeah.
Now, if zombies are coming and I have to protect you guys, I got it.
Yeah.
But like actual war, soldier, no, hats off to you guys. Way to go. That's a different level of bravery,
Yeah.
right? And sacrifice. I'm too selfish, in all honesty, for that.
Yeah. I will only be a hero if I'm situationally. I'm not chasing down hero ship.
It sounds like Situation Girl. Da, 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 da.
If somebody needs saving within my walking path to work, I will save you.
I will, maybe, if I'm not going to trip first.
So another thing, even the way they sent out like the, hey, you're going to have to turn in your boxes.
I know what you're gonna say.
It was like, make sure you open it beforehand so that way you're
don't-
not surprised in front of your commander.
The army doesn't do like feelings. So
Yeah.
we're not going to have like, a counselor
Do
there.
that crying by yourself.
That's not what this meeting's for. Okay, we're not supporting. This country, military benefits, absolutely
the HR
not.
in me was like, okay, I would put
That is so
together
funny
where a
that I didn't pick that up.
person would be there depending on because there'd be a lot of feelings, whether
Yeah.
positive or negative. Do they need to be on leave I would be building policies so people could go take leave depending on what
I did
string
not
length
even
they
think of
had.
that at all. I did think it was weird that they were like, look at this beforehand. It's funny though that the HR in you picks all that out, but the teacher in me was like, Verona and the story, and they told stories together. Yay. In this too though, I audibly gasp. Okay, so Ben, Moira, Hank, they go golfing, right? Hank, you're a doctor. I loved how they were like, you're a doctor. Don't you know how to do this shit? Are you rich and stuff? And he's like, eh.
Yeah.
But we find out how Ben really found out about a string.
Oh, yeah.
And that
Claire.
he was coming home. I forgot her name even. I'm actually disappointed in you that you remembered her name. That flight, that red eye that he was on, he was coming back to his fiance in New York. He did not want to open his box. She opened it anyway and sat him down to tell him, breaking up with him because his string was short and hers was long. What a bitch. What a bitch. I was so mad. Also, short stringers are starting to get denied loans for restaurants and are having to crowdsource money to open it, and Moira wants to go.
Yeah.
Or I think Nina was going to go to write something up on it, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I thought that was interesting, to say the least. And there's rumors of a Google spreadsheet that's going around detailing string lengths of everyone in New York, which I found so violating, but is totally what you would see going on as well. Because there are people still like Amy, Nina's sister, who don't want to open their box. So you can be, and like Claire, Ben's fiance, could out him without him even wanting people to know about that.
Yeah.
So what is the need for a Google spreadsheet on people's string lengths if it's not to be used to control or oppress in some way, shape, or form? That whole thing really pissed me off.
Yeah.
It pissed Moira off too, which is why she's my favorite character.
This is just sensitive data.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be open. That would
Right.
be like having a database where everybody could see your race or your
Line-
sexuality.
Lines are getting blurred. it's crazy that this is a very crazy story, but there were so many correlations
Yes.
to our life today.
Well, it's
in the country
just
that we're in.
another a new metric of discrimination. So, question:
And
what
people
is
not
a-
believing it's discrimination.
What is a new-ish, what like discrimination lever that's new?
It's not really new. I think it's new that it's getting to be used again. Like we thought we already battled a lot of these things, and then we're finding out we didn't. And now they're being used again. And half people are like, how do you not see that that's discriminating against people? You can't just tell Harvard they're not allowed to bring in any more international students. That's not, you can't do that. And other people that are like, why can't you? Of course you can. This is our America. So I think that's what's crazy right now is that is this 1940? So I think it's that it's coming back again. Like we're living these stages of life again. Things are getting bad. There's protests sparking up, which again, we're seeing similarities of that in various things that are going on here. So the support group is getting ready and is going to go, and we go through kind of everybody and the difference in what is going on. So the interesting part is we pan to sleazy ass Anthony because they're protesting his rally.
Of course.
So he's getting ready and he's talking about the protesters out there as a good thing. There is no bad publicity. Catherine's actually worried.
About
Catherine, I was a little
hurt?
Yeah. It's not necessarily good. And he's maybe, if we're lucky, a crazy person will throw a punch. Like he's looking at like publicity from it. We see Hank getting ready to meet everybody for the protest. He didn't want to go, right? Or he was worried about going. And Annika, his kind of situationship, reminded him, we don't just march because we hope it will trigger change. We march to remind them of our numbers, which I loved, in all honesty. Those of you out there today that feel like going to a protest doesn't do anything, I was feeling that way. Like it's on deaf ears. I loved this line. We don't just march because we hope it will trigger change. We march to remind them of our numbers, to remind them that they can't forget about us. And I feel like that's every protest in our daily lives today. We are ants. They are grasshoppers. That's my speech. Hank's there. He's liking being there with everybody, but he has this overwhelming feeling that something bad is going to happen. And he sees a woman like inching closer and closer to the podium. He sees her pull out, my notes say gin. It's not gin, guys. It was a gun. Okay. She pulls out a gun. Hank jumps in front of it without even thinking. What I found sleazy as hell is Anthony was not shocked, was not scared. He was like obviously instantly jumped on and hauled off stage. He thought it was the best thing that could have happened to his campaign. He audibly said, they'll eat it up. I'll be a goddamn hero. He didn't do anything. So the fact that he likes being looked at as a hero, I really don't like Anthony, obviously. The next chapter is the shooter over him being upset that it wasn't for him. Terrell from the support group says he'll be fine. He has 10 years left. Ben knew that he didn't have 10 years left. And Hank's thinking Ben will just have to tell them later because he can't talk. Hank can't talk. Ben leaned over and told Hank that people had long strings because of him and that he did save them. And that's before Hank went off in the ambulance. And that's the last we hear of Hank's point of view. That is the end. So he obviously died at the hospital. But I thought that was the perfect thing to say.
Yes.
To Hank.
That was because Ben knew he'd been struggling with that.
Because we talked about all of us would.
Yeah.
All of us would.
Yeah.
But what is it? What did come first? The chicken or the egg? The chicken or the egg? They have long strings because you were there, right?
Yeah.
You have a short string because you jumped in front to save somebody that you don't even like.
Yeah.
Because you care about life, the sanctity of life. You tried to stop. He didn't actually jump in front of Anthony, FYI. He went to stop the shooter and she shot him on accident and killed him. So he's the first person that we've seen like string come to fruition. Okay. Jack and Javi, I don't think we stated this before. Jack and Javi decided to switch strings.
Jack was the one that actually recommended it.
Yeah.
And Javi was just kind of like, what the fuck?
Why would you do that?
Why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
But,
Which I didn't think it was a lot of planning on Jack's end, because he's going to be the one with the short string that is still living.
yeah,
So he's going to have to explain that, which is what Javi said. And
Yeah.
Jack's, I'll figure it out.
it's fine. It's fine.
Couldn't you tell
Huh.
if their names didn't tell you? One is Latino
Yeah.
and one is white
Yeah.
and one is very privileged. I'll let you guess which one. And one is not.
Yeah.
And that Jack was like, I'll just figure it out.
Yeah.
Javi's like,
You're probably going to get court-martialed and
Yeah.
like dishonorably discharged.
I'll be dead.
Yeah.
So it won't matter.
It doesn't matter. Like my family might be disappointed. And the funny thing is the actual them showing the string and stuff.
Yeah.
Jack forgot that he was supposed to be like sad about it. So he like hands over because he knows I'm going to live till I'm like 100.
Yeah.
And the box gets opened by the general that he has to like, show the box to.
And they're like,
oh, are you sure you're okay, son? And he's like, oh,
yeah.
yeah, I'm sad.
Oh, and Javi's kind of, I just see him being like, dude, get your shit together.
And everybody's like, why is Javi so upset right now? I thought he was brave.
Speaking about how during the protest, how Catherine was like scared and Anthony's like, it's the best thing ever. Maybe they'll throw a punch. Catherine, when Jack revealed it, Catherine thought Jack having a short string means maybe they should reevaluate their stance. It's directly affecting them now. Anthony thought, no, man, he can help my popularity. My ratings are pretty low among short stringers, probably because I'm proposing agenda items that minimize their freedoms. So we'll just use him to breeze over that and be like, hey, we are one of you. Let me take away all of your freedoms. Anthony gets a lot of my aggression, FYI. Moira gets a lot of my praise because she annoyed like me. She is extremely annoyed about the publicity of Hank's death. They don't even mention that Hank was there to protest.
Everybody is making life choices based on their string length. Kids aren't like returning to school because their parents are like, we got short strings. Let's go see the world with our kids. I'm not doing corporate America anymore, which I feel like I would make huge life decisions like that too.
Oh, I loved how many Americans moved to happier places.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah. Why am I feeling so in angst because the people that live around me don't share my values?
Or there's obviously things going on that are starting to discriminate against people like me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to places that are committed to equality.
Yeah.
And teaching me the same.
One thing that I like draw a lot of parallels to a lot of huge things in history, but teachers were banned from talking about certain things around strings. They were banned to say anything around strings at any age. Can you
Refrain
imagine?
from in-depth discussions of strings in classrooms. That's an at-home conversation. Sounds very similar to things we hear today.
Yeah. And it's like, what if the kids come to me and ask me, my daddy's string length is short? That's like saying if a kid is going through something because his dad has cancer, you're not allowed to talk about cancer in school. The kid's coming to you saying, I'm struggling because my dad has a short string. I'm not allowed to talk about that, son.
I was, as an educator, right, very triggered by that. And then we get to see Amy going back to school and the first teacher in their district, the first teacher she sees getting fired for making a presentation on strings. And what her presentation was, she was telling seniors they shouldn't be afraid to get short strings. They shouldn't be afraid of short stringers. And she made posters of people, very influential people who died young.
Yeah.
Their impact was impact. You don't have to be here a long time to make an impact. What a beautiful message to give to anybody. She was fired and all of her posters were in the trash.
That's just gross.
That hurt. That one was hard.
Because that's what you want people to say.
Right.
What else? It's the whole idea of sex education for kids.
Yeah.
Do we talk about it and have them be informed? Or we just ignore and act like it didn't happen and then they grow up like idiots? Which direction do you lean?
Burn it down.
Burn it down, all of it.
Burn it down. Again, things keep impacting and compounding. There's discussion about new laws. And this is in the support group, right? Short stringers can't get guns because they're dangerous now. They've been labeled. Women are using ex-husbands' short strings as a way to get full custody.
Which when
awful.
I heard that, I was like, shit, people would totally do that.
They
and
would.
That's so depressing.
It is. It is.
Because everything in all the laws are like, what's in the best interest of the kids. Mm-hmm. So legally, of course you can. And it's like, where do we draw that line?
And again, Moira summed it up perfectly. She yelled at all of them. She's like, aren't you guys getting sick of this? Why do we have to constantly protest and prove ourselves when we already have so much more to deal with? We're already the ones with the short strings. Why are we the ones having to fight for ourselves? Which, as a Black woman, also having to say that about strings, can Moira catch a break? Really?
No, she can't.
And I like how things always come full circle. Amy's talking about the teacher she saw and the posters were thrown away. Moira goes to bed thinking about the posters she saw in the trash.
Because it's the same school as Amy's school.
And one of the posters said, and it was posters of Selena, of Princess Diana, of Chadwick Boseman, a meaningful life at any length.
Yes, which is a beautiful message.
Beautiful.
So now cut to the political side of the house.
Yes.
Of course, Javi is watching this incredible speech. Johnson is trying to inspire hope. He actually vulnerably says, I have a short string, but even though I have a short string, I can make a big impact. My only motivation is the people.
Right.
Because I don't have any self-motivation. My motivation is to make an impact and make people's lives better. And it was so inspiring. And Javi was like, that's how we need to think about it. That's how I feel about it. And then he sees Anthony come in and be like, and my nephew has a short string. I care about this topic too. And all of this.
He paraded him around.
Yes.
He paraded Jack around.
He paraded him around before, but now he's parading this fake.
With Javi's string.
With Javi's string.
Yeah.
Which made Javi irritated by the whole cultural situation, but he was also really pissed at Jack.
Yeah.
Stand up for me, man.
Yeah. He
like
confronted.
The shit that he's saying is horrible.
He confronted Jack about it too.
Yeah.
I thought Javi had a lot of really good points. He reminds him that it's his uncle's fault they even had to fucking do this in the first place.
Yeah.
It's your uncle's idea. It was your uncle's initiative that we even had to do that. And
we didn't even want to look.
He mimics a lot of what Moira said. We're already the ones suffering. He doesn't need to use that. Jack apologizes. He agrees with them.
Yeah.
But he apologizes in a very privileged. He didn't.
I didn't do it.
Yeah.
It was my ancestors' ancestors.
And I don't even think he really did it like that. I think it was more. Jack always loved Javi because Javi never judged him. Everyone knew what family this kid's from. Yeah. They even harassed him a little bit because of it. Made life a little harder. Javi never treated him that way. But now Javi is being treated that way.
Yeah.
Or is watching it happen and Jack's not doing anything about it. And he's like, you could. And Jack, we didn't talk about this, but Jack's grandfather is the one that really was the military guy, right?
Yeah.
And he told Javi and Jack the story about how this prayer card he had, it was a Jewish prayer card. They're not Jewish. It was from his best friend in the military. And it was something that was given to him to give him luck. He gave it to him when they were getting separated. And his grandfather has no idea if any of those guys lived or died. And they've never reached out to him. And he's wuss about it, in all honesty. And he admits he is. But I think we both did the same thing. We're just hoping that they're still alive. I don't know if I want to know that they didn't actually make it.
Imagine that they're alive.
Yeah. So Jack has it, and Jack tries to give the prayer card to Javi, and Javi is basically, that's not my family legacy. Nope. And frankly, I don't want anything to do with it. And frankly, I need some space away from you.
Yep.
Which I did not blame him. I did feel bad for Jack. And he promised him, he's like, I'm going to find a way to make this up to you. We'll see, white boy. Okay. I also thought it was really cute that Amy and Ben still wrote to each other all summer long.
Yes. Even though she's a teacher, So she would like purposefully go into work one day a week
Yes.
because she's, oh yeah, I'll still be around here.
And their letters are really cute.
They are very sweet.
Like in this modern contemporary time, like old, like war
Yes.
letters or something a little bit, and how they just write back and forth. We don't talk about them, all of them, but I found them as nice little breaths of fresh air with a
Yeah.
lot of stuff that was triggering for me actually and made me really mad.
And I think they talked about a lot of really deep stuff. Things
Yeah.
where in the dialogue, they would be mulling over the response all week.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, I've got to rush and write the letter.
It's so cute. And they'd be so excited to get the one back from the other one. Oh, pen pals. But we're finding out about that with another truly beautiful love story, in my opinion. So Moira and Nina. Nina is a very good support system, I think. She lets Moira, through all of this, feel her feelings and knows what to say, even when it's her fault. And Moira kind of snaps at her and she's like, yeah, you're right. Okay. And we need to go on a vacation. You need to get the hell out of
Yeah.
here. This is too much. You can stop protesting for one day and have some joy and love. And Moira asked Ben to draw different milestones from their relationship because he's an architect. I don't think we mentioned that as his job.
Yeah, he's always like doing little doodles.
He does little doodles and things like that. And Moira, in one of the support groups, Moira asked about that. So he drew where they met, where Nina first said, I love you, things like that. So he's going to their apartment to measure out where it is. And he runs into
Amy.
Nina's sister, who's there watering the plants. And Amy, in that conversation, mentions a story of Gertrude, which is what Ben was writing about in his very first letter that he just discarded because their support group leader phoned it in and had them write a letter. So Ben realizes, oh, we didn't also say this, their letters are just B and A. They don't sign their names.
Yeah.
So he realized while they're talking, she's A.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they actually start meeting up
Yes.
and dating a little bit. And the crazy thing, which is so shocking, but neither one of them mentioned strings the entire time they're dating.
Which does make sense because Amy hasn't looked at hers and Ben
No.
didn't want to look at his.
Yeah.
He was going to be you and not
Yeah.
look.
And each one of them just ignored any topic around strings.
It was really cute. Nina proposes while her and Moira are in Italy.
Yes.
And Moira has this beautiful surprise. So I thought it was just really cute that both of them were like planning that. And I did think it was interesting that Nina said that like she never really thought Moira would ever be into her, someone like her. Like for the
Yeah.
first weeks they were dating, she was just like waiting for Moira to
like
break up
the
with her.
nerdy girl that's way too type A for this really cool girl.
She said, I can't believe someone as cool as you even remembered my name.
Aww.
And I thought it was really sweet. And Nina, I loved this line, right? And here we are facing the fact that forever doesn't exist for anyone, but I still want to invent it with you. It's so beautiful. We're starting to see a lot of their individual stories unfold. Ben finally tells his parents about a short string. We didn't talk about that, but that was a big part of support group for him.
Yeah.
Is him not telling his parents because he doesn't want to break their hearts. He didn't want to tell them. He didn't want to break their heart, basically. And he's yeah, and it's like the real reason Claire, the bitch, broke up with me. He does realize, which is interesting because he's dating Amy, right? Who he knows is A. Claire never tried to comfort me, ever.
No.
Once in all of that. Because his parents like comfort him and stuff. And I
Yeah.
think he realizes like it was never.
And just that whole story about Claire coming out, opening his box,
Yes.
even though she knew he didn't want anybody to do that. And her reaction was how sad she is, how it impacts her, not thinking that, like, I should be worried about him.
Yeah.
So she just sucks.
She does suck. People's lives are starting to intertwine a little bit. So just small stories. Jack is like at the park or something and confronts two kids harassing a canvasser for Johnson, who's his uncle's opponent, saying he probably has a short string, all of that. Leah observed it. Leah from support group who's pregnant observed it and came up to him and thanked him for sticking up for short stringers. And Jack noticed like a little pin, and it had a short string and a long string strung together. So it was the symbol of the movement.
Yes.
That they're starting down right now. Hank's memorial. Mm-hmm. He meets a young woman and found out she was a young patient with a long string. And we didn't talk about this, but Hank met a mother, and there was a young girl. She had lung cancer. He had to tell her she didn't get the transplant. Like, they thought she had a lung. She came in and they didn't end up getting it to him in time. And the mom didn't seem upset. And she didn't want to look in her box, but I did. And it's long. My baby's going to live. So if it's not this one, it'll be the next one.
Yeah.
At Hank's memorial, Ben met this young girl who had just been the receiver of a transplant of Hank's lungs.
Yeah.
So Hank talked to the mom, and then he ended up being the lungs for her.
So not only did he save a bunch of people in actual life,
yeah,
he had multiple organs donated.
Ben writes a final letter at the end of summer, or at the end of the fall, telling Amy he's B. I'm Ben. Telling her he told his parents, and he tells her how he was like pulled to respond to her back and forth, and this is why. He ends that letter, which it was a very nicely written letter. He ends it with the quality of our lives that lie within us, not within some box. And by your own measure, you can still be happy. Yeah. And then Amy ghosts him.
Which I was like, Amy, you can't do that.
Yeah, we don't know she fully ghosts him yet.
So she does not know how to respond to this.
Right.
She like looks at it and is, oh, this guy that I have a crush on, who ironically, we've never talked about it, is the same guy that I just bore my soul to. And she actually
for months.
Yeah, she goes through, should I answer it like this? Like, she just really doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
She actually decides, instead of confronting what I should be confronting,
yeah,
she actually went back and reached out to the World War II Museum to find out in that original letter that Ben wrote about this story of a man and a wife who were like writing to each other. And it was like his last message was, I will wait for you.
But we don't know what happened.
And she actually instead went and found out
what happened.
And it wasn't a good what happened.
I think he was killed in France, and she lived until she was 86 years old. It was very Titanic.
It was very like,
the stool is not big enough.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also think it was that love was so strong that even though he died, had a short string and she had a long string, it didn't matter because it was worth that love.
And then here, which is beautiful.
Yes.
But that's not how Amy took it. Amy then is honestly bitching to Nina about, my life is so hard and he wants kids and he talked about a family and he only has 10 years and I don't know if I can be that person for him. I don't know why I'm Southern now, but I am.
What? Nina's girlfriend has
she just proposed
string.
And she proposed.
Yeah.
And like, it's happy. And Nina told her, like, get over it. You're doing exactly what Claire did. You're discriminating against him for that. And she was like, marrying someone who's about to die is a huge fucking deal. And that, as soon as she said that in the argument, I'm like, that is so insensitive. That's exactly
so
what Nina's doing.
They got in a huge fight at their engagement party. And all of a sudden, this is the first time that Amy and Nina, sisters, are just not talking. It blew up.
Nina told her basically that everything in life is a risk. And you took that risk before strings were involved. You didn't know if someone was going to die within a couple of years, and told her that this was more about Ben and her being a hypocrite, and walked away. She was right.
We were all thinking it.
We were. Okay. Thanks, Nina.
So Jack is obviously seeing all this. Javi is not really talking to him anymore, and he's just feeling very isolated in this secret. And he's starting to get pissed because he's like, the one friend that I had
Yeah.
isn't talking to me about this stupid thing that I don't even believe in. And so actually at one of the things that he was supposed to be touted around like a peacock, he actually grabbed the mic and stood up and started talking about how his uncle doesn't care about short stringers.
Yeah.
That the way he's treated him is showing that he doesn't care about short stringers and that all of this is really one-sided. And he actually, in that speech, comes up with this phrase, strung together. And he just says that we're all strung together, not even meaning anything. A couple weeks later, online, there is a graduation speech that goes viral where the valedictorian is just use that we're strung together,
We're
together.
all the same.
We're all the same. And it actually starts a whole like revolution around this where people are starting to understand this is a different form of discrimination.
And it gives them like motivation. Like it's having an impact.
Yeah.
So then Moira has attended 3 rallies in the last month, and Nina, type A personality, is planning their wedding. And she's like, can't you just go here? You've been to 3 rallies. And Moira is basically, I wish I could.
Yeah.
I wish I could not care.
I don't have the time.
But if I don't care,
Nobody
who
does.
is? Who is going to care? And she had a point, and Nina was just like, okay, no, you're right. They fight a little bit. Okay,
Yeah.
there's a lot more of a fight going on
and
there.
I saw both sides of it because
Totally.
I've planned a wedding before.
Yeah.
It sucks. And I've pulled my husband by the teeth being like, just make 5 of these 20
Yeah.
decisions I have to make.
Yeah.
So I understand it. But she turned it around really quickly and was like, okay, fair.
Well,
go to your rally.
To be honest with you, okay, again, remember, Moira is a Black lesbian woman. So she did say in that I've already lived my whole life trying to make sure I'm not too angry or too threatening because that would make Black people look bad, or too sensitive or stupid because that would make women look bad. And now I can't be too emotional or unstable looking because that would make short stringers look bad. That's a lot of she's right.
Yes.
That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And so Nina's, okay, you should go. Next
Fair.
time I'm going with you. And I thought that was like the end of it. Good job, Nina. You're a really good fiance. Moira got home. It was late. There was cake in the fridge because it was a cake tasting that they were supposed to go to. And a note from Nina that was like, you should totally taste this. It's right up your alley. You're going to love it. By the way, next time I fight with you, I want it to be with my wife. So why don't we get married Monday at City Hall?
Yeah. Why am I doing all this planning?
Nina, I love you. I'm
you're-
leaving my husband for you, Nina.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Yes. Yes.
Which also means that we got B&A, dear Ben and Amy,
Yeah.
finally actually need to talk to each other because they're going to be forced at the wedding
Forced proximity.
to be near each other.
Those are my favorite romances.
Yes, because the support group came from dear Moira
Yeah.
and Amy was the maid of honor.
And Amy comes to that and she's like, I'm going to tell him that I want to be friends.
Yes.
It's not you, it's me.
Yes,
I just can't picture a future
yes.
with you.
It's not about the string, but it's a little about the string.
But it's all about the string.
And she goes up and asks Ben to dance.
She does. It's a start.
And she did not say all those things.
No, she got overwhelmed
She got verklempt.
and ran away.
She remembered a few days before how her and Nina actually made friends again because this whole wedding planning time
Yeah.
was still within the realm of Nina and Amy's fight and they hadn't talked. So it's been
Right.
months and they couldn't go a day without talking to each other. And she had gone to Nina and just been like, I love you. I support you no matter what. Of course, you're going to marry her. Just an apology.
It was a good apology.
And it also reflected in the, okay, shit, based on that, I shouldn't be doing this. I'm just friends
Yeah.
stuff. I
Yeah.
am a hypocrite. Nina was right.
Sorry. We do see the support group getting together. They're gathering in Times Square, and there's a thing that's going to happen. And we don't quite know what's going to happen, some sort of strung together
Yep.
event, right? The entire Times Square goes black for a couple of seconds, and then the words strung together appear on every screen at the same time. And it's happening in all major cities across the world
It's
at the same
working.
time. So they play Strung Together, and then they start to play the contributions of short stringers around the world. Saved 200 lives in surgery, raised 3 children, earned 2 PhDs, ran for president. So that's how we know Johnson passed away.
Oh,
It was a beautiful celebration. I think I even cried maybe a little bit when I was reading this part. I'm a little emotional. As soon as the moment ends and everyone's on a high, Leah's like, my water broke, which is another joyous. Let's go have some babies, because there's multiple babies, which is another beautiful event. I thought that was of course, what a movie moment. Her water breaks.
Amy and Ben, even though she ran away, he decided to ask her out.
No, I think Amy came back around and was like, okay. I don't remember either.
All that matters is Amy and Ben meet up at the park, and they just start dating, and they're a cute, like, old couple immediately, where he's telling her random architectural facts and she's treating him like a kindergartner.
They end up sitting in Central Park on these benches that are dedicated.
Yeah.
And he just has architectural facts for every moment.
Yeah.
No matter what.
And they just actually start progressing through dating life very quickly.
Yeah. Which is exactly what Amy was worried about. But now it's totally, she gets it now. Yeah.
And Ben, will you meet my parents? Like, big, huge life steps.
Yeah.
And by spring, they were planning to move in together. And then he proposes.
On the same benches.
On those same benches.
From the first date.
From the first date that literally happened 2 minutes ago. This is how fast they moved.
It was literally like 2 pages ago. Not even.
It was 2 bullet points ago.
Which is a couple pages. The support group is, instead of being so upset all the time, there's more joyous events. So you're getting more and more hope as things are going very quickly. So they all go to this art expo of an artist that made the whole project out of people's strings. And he never looked at his own string this whole time. So he said people's strings are like a heartbeat, and there's something very private. And he wanted to make sure you couldn't tell whose string was whose and intertwined in here, because it doesn't matter. They all are strung together as a theme. He wanted to create a very public record of the strings, but no one would ever know whose string was long or short, because they all make a perfect structure, which was a tree. Tree of life.
Tree of strings.
Tree of strings.
And then they just stop there, and is like multiple years later.
Yeah, several years later.
Yeah. Here's what happened with the life. And we know we were on a short stringers support group. So there's going to be like big bad news.
So I knew right away. Oh, great. So several years later, someone's dying. Awesome. Here we go.
Or has already died.
Yeah.
So, of course, Javi.
It's a beautiful story.
We knew that all the long stringers, and Javi is quote unquote long stringer, would be set into combat.
Yeah. He got to go to flight school.
Yeah.
And
he got to live out all of his dreams.
was it flight school or officer training? Something like that.
Something
but he's
big
living
and bad.
it.
Yeah. They're on a mission, and they actually have to go find people, save them, bring them safely home.
It was doctors from Doctors Without Borders.
And it was Anika.
Yes.
So basically, they landed. They were trying to go save these people. They got them to a certain point where Javi had to distract the people that were chasing him. And I got this. He knew it was his time.
He knew he was within a week, days, whatever.
Yeah.
I love how his people were like, yeah, well, he'll be fine. We'll just pick him up in the morning. He's got a long string. It'll be good.
He'll survive the night. It may be a rough night, but he'll survive it.
Even though, like, in a normal situation, they wouldn't have let one of the soldiers go. They literally only let him go because he had a string.
But meanwhile, he wouldn't have made it to the flight anyway. So he was supposed to meet them back. They left too early because they just had to go. People were coming up on them.
Yeah.
But Javi, meanwhile, was in the jungle dying already. He had gotten hit, but he had done his job. He actually died smiling because he heard the chopper leaving. He knew he saved them.
And he pulls out the tattered prayer card
From Jack, his brother that he fought with.
And he read it out loud so he wouldn't die alone. For the 2 deaths that we've seen so far,
Yes.
they were very beautifully.
And they were both
written.
short stringers.
They were both very short stringers,
Yes.
too. Javi, before we went to this, Javi was putting away a letter. Like, he knew it was soon, and he knew he'd have to explain to his parents because his parents thought he had a long string.
Yeah.
Javi's parents reached out. Jack thought maybe sharing their stories would be him fighting on behalf of short stringers. So he goes to the Johnson Foundation, which was established to help short stringers face discrimination. So we do know for several years there's been things that have had to happen.
Yeah.
It's a new form of discrimination that will be fought for, but it's normalized at least. So he walks in to speak with the director of communications, Moira. What a wonderful director of communications as well. Perfect. Jack told her his whole story about switching strings, and her response was, holy shit. Jack's uncle already had calls for impeachment, so that's how we know his uncle won the presidency, because Johnson had passed away. And when his attempted assassin from before left a note in her cell about the real reason, because she didn't talk.
No.
Everyone just thought it was the short string thing. No, she is the sister of the boy that died. That was a scandal from his fraternity, and he was the president of the fraternity.
Yeah.
And she was sick of this privileged ass dude not being called to the carpet on the involvement.
Because basically her brother died during a hazing event.
Yes. And she had never actually even looked at her string.
No, she had no idea she had a short string.
Yeah.
And she was devastated that she had actually accidentally killed Hank, that she killed herself in the cell.
So Jack's, I feel like this story will
a big
help
story.
push over the edge. Because
Yeah.
I'm sure his uncle is doing all kinds of crazy things still.
Yes.
He wanted the story to include his name.
Yeah.
He's that's what makes it impactful. I want you to include it. And Moira was like, you sure about that?
Yeah, your family, your ancestral home is going to be pissed.
Not to mention, like you said before, court martial,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff could be happening. There's going to be blowback.
So whenever there's these like super wealthy, powerful people that stand up like and say things against the things the family's doing, I'm always like, fuck yeah, you do that. Disney always comes to mind, and Kennedy always comes to mind.
Yeah. And he was hoping this would bring his uncle down. He was hoping that someone else reading about him and Javi's story would show people that short stringers bring just as much value as long stringers, because they're still battling that. And they deserve the same opportunities to prove it. Javi never would have gotten that opportunity, which means those 3 would never have been saved. Yeah. It was because of him, because of a short stringer, which was that teacher's goal in her presentation, by the way, a couple of years ago. You all owe her an apology.
And you fired her.
Another circle moment. Jack met Annika at Javi's funeral, and she said Javi reminded her of a friend of hers, Hank. In a way, I think the 2 of them had the longest strings I've ever seen, was the line.
I mean, they made the biggest impact in their short lives.
They did.
10 years later, after that, now Nina's speaking at Moira's funeral.
Yes.
She did so much work with the Johnson Foundation. She defeated the Star Initiative that actually made everybody in the military reveal.
It was defeated in the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of work. It became her life's work.
Yeah. And Nina actually wrote a book, and it was a compilation of stories inspired by the strings, which is so perfect and so intertwined with keeping Moira alive.
Yeah.
And then Moira evidently told Nina she couldn't fall apart because Amy and Ben need her and their children need her.
Yeah. So Amy and Ben got married. It pans to these like stories of Ben, who just worked his whole life to give his kids memories that would last a lifetime.
Yeah.
And he did all the sports teams and all the stuff.
He just lived life to the fullest.
There was a lot of joy.
Yes.
A lot of joy. And when they said they weren't surprised when Ben was given his cancer diagnosis, he wanted to stay home with the family. Of course, he was satisfied. He was happy. He was glad that he knew because he was able to live life that way.
Yeah.
Live like you were dying. And that he spent those years with Amy and that he had the kids and was satisfied he wouldn't be leaving his family in a bad state. Like he was always prepared.
And Amy was too.
Yes.
So it was almost like they prepared for everything together. They knew, they set Amy up so she would never have to worry about anything when he did die. They were ready.
Financially, emotionally, all of that.
Yeah.
They're driving back from one of his treatments and they both die in a car accident on the way home.
Amy never looked at her box, but her string ended the exact same time as Ben's.
That was something I didn't see coming.
It was so sad.
It was sad, but it was like also epic love story.
It was.
We also didn't talk about how Moira struggled with the fact that she didn't think she wanted kids, but now that it was like taken away,
she was
that was difficult. And Nina struggled with the idea of that as well. Nina ended up adopting Willie and Midge, an 11 and a 9-year-old. And then it pans to her going to a bench right outside the Museum of National History that Amy had gifted Ben on their 10th anniversary that said, "Dear B, no matter what happens, I still feel the same."
Which is exactly what Gertrude told her soldier. Their World War II love story.
Yeah. And we do find out Jack has a family. He's on the cover. And after the fallout, he was telling like his story. And he started a non-for-profit for veterans with PTSD. And so like he was doing great things with his life, even though it took
with
him
his very long life.
Very long,
his
very
long
privileged
life.
But I'm glad he's doing good things.
Yeah.
We also didn't talk about the cyclist. So at the beginning of the book, there's like this cyclist that goes around playing Que Sera Sera. And it like is a story that was told, right? That they come around. And then I think it was Amy heard it when she left the wedding early. The guy was going around. And then that's how the book ends too, with the cyclist. And you hear a faint Que Sera Sera. Whatever will be.
That would not have been a bullet point for me.
It was obviously a theme, so I felt like I had to mention it.
No, you didn't have to. That's like telling the story of Pretty Woman and then saying mostly the story about the black guy, homeless guy that's like, in New York, like at the beginning and the end. That's a cool anecdote if we didn't already talk for 2.5 hours.
Like this podcast, if you agree that my sound effects are amazing and my small detailed anecdotes that I bring up are the most inspirational ever. So at the end of the book,
what
would your decision to look at your string change?
No, I still think I wouldn't want to look at my string.
Yeah.
But I do feel like I'd probably be a Nina where I would want to look at his. And so I'd have to look at mine too.
And it would probably be the same situation. I think Derek would have... By the end of the book, I saw the benefits of not.
Yeah.
But I also know there's no way I wouldn't be able to look at it. Spend my whole life as Amy? Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. No way in hell.
Yeah.
No way in hell.
I couldn't imagine a scenario where I would want to look unless...
I just couldn't imagine not knowing it's there and not looking at it.
I guess I probably wouldn't look until I already found my person or like I felt like I controlled some direction.
Yeah.
I feel like now as a grown up, I might look.
Yeah.
But I can't.
And probably because you have kids.
Yeah.
So it's like you'd want to prepare.
More planning.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I'd be okay not looking ever.
But how cool is that situation that Ben knows, so lived his whole life like he was dying and was happy with that. And they were prepared. And the kids were prepared. Everyone was prepared.
It was a happy story at the end.
And then Amy got to live life like that. But also it's
sad.
It's a beautiful, sad love story.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It is Romeo and Juliet. No, that's not actually beautiful.
Little kids. We're talking about adults, Nicole.
Wow. We read fantasy novels where every girl is like 18.
Why is that
the case? Actually always 19. I feel like they're always 19.
Just on the cusp. Just in case one dude reads
You can't have a 43-year-old heroine. losing collagen, perimenopausal. I think we'd kick ass, all right?
She was so irritated by her husband smacking his lips too loud.
The night fire that rang out.
Speaking
what
of,
a great book, though, right?
Yes.
That I will say, overall impression, if you want a book, I don't know if it's a vacation beach read, but a quick read or something that might take you forever because you can put it down and not go back to it for a couple of days, and it's not like you forget. Like the way it's
you
written.
don't miss out on anything.
No, it's okay.
Especially this Que Sera Sera guy.
Que sera, sera. Great book. I think definitely a 5-star rating for me. And I don't do a lot of 5s. I'm a big, like, if the book was really good, it's a 4.
I like any books where it makes you think. It makes you connect to your real life and think outside of the box.
Which
Like,
is
this
a
was
hard,
putting you in
I
an
agree.
interesting position.
I agree. But in 2025,
yeah.
probably since 2021, I have a hard time with that. I like to escape reality. I don't want what I'm reading to bring me back to this shit show that I can't control or make sense of.
But it's
So-
not as big of a shit show as that.
No,
And it
I actually
only
had-
took 10 years.
I had a much more positive experience with this kind of contemporary writing about it.
Yeah.
I think I felt validated in a lot of things because
Yeah.
you saw how everything was playing out and stuff. But great book. Really liked it. Highly recommend. I recommend all the books that we've read thus far. But I will say this
See,
one.
I'm here for the ride. So
Yeah.
you'll get totally honest opinion from me because Nicole picks the books.
I do.
I just read the books.
I do. And I will say, out of our palette cleansers, we've read A Flicker in the Dark.
I
and
liked
then this
Flicker
one.
better than this.
Oh, I liked this better.
Yeah.
I'm not really into thrillers. I don't know why.
I like all kinds of books. I like to be diversified like that.
I think I like to get lost in a book,
Mm-hmm.
and thrillers, my brain refuses to let me get lost in it.
Yeah, because
The
you're
whole
always trying
time.
to figure out.
Yeah, the whole time. It's anxiety. I am in this situation, and it's going to happen. Don't run up the stairs. That's the murderer.
See?
Duh, that's the murderer.
It's like the closest thing to investigation discovery in book form that I can get. So I'm in.
Yeah, I don't watch those shows either, probably because of the same reason.
See, I want to.
Except for if they're true stories, I'm looking online. Oh, no, she did it.
Oh,
She so did it.
This interview over here, we haven't heard that yet. By the way, my oldest likes criminology as much as her mother.
Oh, yeah.
And
She's a Gemini.
so we're a little nervous about that, but
She's got a little more witchy vibes going on.
I'll keep her away from any. What is it called when you kill your parents?
Oh, Menendez brothers.
I don't know if we can say Menendez brothers anymore. Have you watched any recent documentaries about that?
Yes.
It's a divisive case.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
I don't know because
I think the evidence against the parents being involved in some way, shape, or form in PTSD and trauma is very evident. So I think they were
They're
abused.
guilty.
They were definitely abused.
but they weren't the malicious, money-hungry kids.
I think the older one got fucking nervous and then started making himself look super freaking guilty, not realizing it. I think the spending of the money was, these are traumatized adults now, but their whole childhood was that. And so they're acting out.
yeah,
And
they're kids.
and you do
They don't
crazy
understand.
crazy shit. I do think they murdered them.
Oh, they
and it was planned.
They absolutely did.
They definitely did it. Then trying to cover it up because they should have just admitted all that to begin with, made him look so much more guilty in
but
a
I
malicious
also
way.
think societally
Yeah.
back then, the
Very
result
different.
would have been the same.
Oh yeah.
Even if they would have come, like,
The jurors flat out said that,
Yeah.
basically.
yeah,
And this is in the 80s. This
Yeah.
was still men can't be sexually assaulted.
yeah.
Like thinking.
because if you gotta, then you gotta.
Yeah.
That's what they used to think.
I know. That's so sad.
Yeah.
That's so sad. Okay, anyways, back to this book. Focus. What character's story did you connect with the most?
Probably Amy.
Yeah? Yeah. Amy.
Are you
I
Moira?
could see that. Moira, for sure. Yeah.
Which, ironically, I guessed you Moira because your personality is
Yeah.
much more similar to Moira. And my personality of all the characters is probably mostly Amy.
Yeah, I
I
think
actually
that's-
did connect a lot with Jack, too. And I know you don't like Jack.
It's not
his
that I don't
internal
like him.
turmoil
Yeah.
of being like, I'm not the bad guy, but I am not outwardly standing up, and I feel and hear all the feedback.
Yeah.
I understand it.
Yeah.
I just was born into this privilege, but even I am not one of them. They treat me different too.
Jack's whole story, totally on board with.
Yeah.
Was I frustrated with him the same way Javi was?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I was very frustrated with him that he didn't see it, but he also, we had his internal dialogue. We knew his struggle.
Yeah.
That was going on. So I sympathized with him. I didn't necessarily relate to him, but I did sympathize with him.
Yeah.
Again, like not given the tools to be able to process these types of things
Yeah.
and just be like thrown into the family and having those responsibilities. That's, again, I didn't totally relate to his story, but I sympathized with it a lot.
Yeah.
I think Moira for sure, because I feel like in this situation, I would definitely be a short stringer or something. I just relate to that almost underdog type of mentality. I'm the one who can fight. I have the bark. Let me do it. You know?
Yeah.
Type of thing, which is probably why I like resonated very much with Nina as well as the counterbalance to that. They were very much like two sides of a coin, in my opinion, and the way I think I related to Moira, but I respected Nina's journey so much.
Yeah.
So much.
The only dislikable characters was Anthony and Catherine in my mind.
Yeah, but then I even found myself feeling sorry for Catherine, and then I got pissed off that I felt that way. It's your own damn fault.
No, Catherine was very close-minded. She didn't have a global view. She had a very isolated view.
Yeah.
Which is frustrating because don't you even want to understand other people's point of views?
Yeah.
Like for me, if I don't understand a perspective, like I feel like our generation, we were the first ones that heard a lot about what trans meant, what gender means.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like learning along with everybody else because it's a new thing. It's not a new thing, but it's more
New to us.
And I feel like what I wanted to do was before I judged, I like watched a bunch of, not that reality TV is great, but I watched a lot of like documentaries and reality TV to just hear that perspective because conceptually I couldn't even understand the difference between sex and gender. I had no idea. And so the fact that she sees that there's so much tension and has no interest in just understanding what the other side is thinking. Like, why would they think this perspective? Why am I so far away?
It shows you how detached people are, like rich people.
Yeah.
It shows you how detached people are, like rich people are, from other people's experiences of outside of any part of their privileged purview. Yeah. Different race, different gender, even different upbringing, different area you're raised in, even.
Yeah.
It's a very siloed way of thinking, and it permeates in every part of your life.
And I think there's a lot of greatness that comes with that diversification. But I feel like now there's not even an interest to understand.
I think that's the most frustrating part of our current climate and in the book, in all honesty, is the lack of urgency or lack of empathy. This is actually really what it is to care, to even try and learn. Like it's just automatically.
It feels like everybody's just trying to prove they're right instead of understand, if I'm so right, how do half of the other people think I'm so wrong?
What is that? Narcissism?
I think it's righteousness.
Yeah. No, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just did Israel, Palestine, Gaza, all of it. I hear it. I know I'm reading a skewed view of what it is.
Yes.
So I read it from CNN. I read it from BBC. I read it from Fox News. And every single one, I'm like, you can hear it in random sentences. You're trying to like mentally push me one way or the other.
Yes.
So I did a whole deep research, and I literally, my prompt, I should pull it out and read it, but I want an objective view of the historical facts, perspectives, and key players throughout the history of the Gaza Strip.
For the last 100 years is basically what you need.
Yeah. This only went back to 46.
That's
But
70 some years. No, that's more than that. Yeah.
and I'm not even done reading it because there's so much.
75 years is just the most recent conflict.
Yes.
Oh.
So I probably need to say, okay, now deep research.
Well, because
the years before it.
Israelis would talk about thousands of years of Jewish persecution
And
before
so
that. So, yeah. But
would the Palestinians?
no, I'm saying the Israeli people would say that they were persecuted by the entire Middle East for thousands of years and moved all around.
Yes.
So don't they deserve a homeland?
That's
'Cause
very Taurus of them.
They were, and they were. It's true.
Yeah.
The entire basis of the Bible was
No.
based off of it.
And it's just one of those things where I'm happy that I have access to information where I can do that
Yeah.
and make my own perspective. But I'm only a third of the way done reading that.
Yeah.
I need something where I have somebody telling me the facts like that. Not, I can tell all of these different people are trying to skew me to their perspective.
Yeah.
Just, I don't want to be skewed. I want to make up my own mind.
Yeah. Okay, back to the book though. Overall, very good read. I would highly recommend to anybody. And our next series, do we want to talk about that?
Yes.
Next series is the Crowns of, how do you say it?
Nixia.
Crowns of Nixia. It is going to be 3 duologies. So think for the first book, Hunger Games meets Twilight, right? It's vampires, and there are different clans of vampires, and all of the events that would unfold in a Hunger Games vampire setting that then is a whole other world and all of that. So the first 2 books that we're going to read are Serpent in the Wings of Night and Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, which follow the Nightborn vampires. These are all also, if any of you are Kindle Unlimited people, they're all on Kindle Unlimited as well.
Ayo.
The newest one might not be, but I know the first 2 are. But anyways, they're about the Bloodborne vampires, and then there will be 2 more books about the Shadowborn vampires. There is one novella that I know of, at least, that follows 2 characters from these first 2 books that are introduced at the beginning of the second book and their love story and how they met, which is also very good. You should read it
Okay.
as well.
I'll put it in my calendar.
So I'm very excited about this. We're hitting all fantasy genres now. I think
Yes.
with the 2 of these books.
We hit fairies.
Yeah.
We hit
Dragons.
dragons. We're hitting vampires.
Yeah. We don't have any werewolves.
I'm okay. I've heard things about werewolves.
I had a really good book that I was like, ooh, this is going to be a good 1-book fantasy for those of you who read like me on here, The Bride. And it was good. It's a very good world. It's a very good story, enemies to lovers type of thing, until one very pivotal scene that I think me and you both love to read a excruciating slow burn
Yeah.
for one climactic scene that was so disappointing. I can't even have you read it.
Yeah. You told me like the
Fucked
air
the whole book up.
Yeah. And
Fucked
I
the
said
whole
I'm not
book
even
up.
going to read it.
Comment if you agree or disagree, but I think that one scene fucked the whole book up, and I was really disappointed. Anyways, yeah, we're hitting
Google
all
it
of
if
them.
you don't know.
The next palette cleanser we're going to do, I think, is going to be sci-fi, so we really get the full spectrum.
Perfect. Which
And-
I love sci-fi.
And we still need to figure out how to make historical fiction funny.
Yeah. Turns out most historical fiction is just tragic.
Like even this book, even The Measure was hard to make like funny in some
Yeah.
instances
I
because
didn't
it's
laugh at all during this episode.
joke's on you. I was laughing. All right. Thanks you guys for joining us for our little palette cleanser. We'll be back in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We don't really know. All right. This
It
is our side job.
depends.
Okay. We're also moms.
It depends on if I have time during practices to edit.
But and if we have time to get together to record
Yes.
the next book and you have time to edit, we'll maybe see you in a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Probably see you next month. No, I'm just kidding.
It's throwing our whole calendar off. Okay. But after this series, I will also say, I don't know if we really know what we're going to read next.
No, if you have any ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have ideas of what to read, but it's what do we want to unleash? I don't know if you can do it in the comment section. But comment wherever you're listening to this podcast about what series we should do next. We are intimidated to do Crescent City.
Yes, that feels too complex.
We are also intimidated to do Throne of Glass because it's 9 books and it will literally take us a year.
Yeah, I don't want to take a year.
But people say it's the best series.
Oof.
If you like ACOTAR, Throne of Glass knocks it out of the park.
Okay.
But I've also heard it takes about till book 5 or 6
I
to get
also
addicted.
like the idea of doing a book series that isn't totally done, so that way we can do our cabin weekend for when a book is released.
We'll have to do that for ACOTAR and we'll have to do that for Fourth Wing.
Okay.
And we'll have to do that for this. So we already have a couple.
So we have only 3. Give me more series that aren't ending.
All right, I'll do a little research, but you guys comment, help me out a little bit. There might be things I don't even know about. Thank you for joining us and talking high tales with your favorite Lit sisters.
Have a good evening, morning, afternoon.
Good night.
Wherever you are. Goodbye.